Episode 10. The Wealthy Use Debt Differently. Good Debt versus Bad Debt. Chapter 1. Let me ask you something. When you hear the word debt, what feeling do you get? Stress? Anxiety? Maybe even fear? Most people have been taught that all debt is bad. But what if I told you that the wealthy see debt completely differently? In this episode, we're going to expose the truth about good debt versus bad debt. You'll learn how the rich use debt to build more wealth, legally and strategically, while the poor and middle class stay trapped paying interest their whole lives. This is one of the most misunderstood financial concepts out there. And if you don't get this right, you'll always be playing defense instead of offense. Chapter 2. Robert Kiyosaki makes a bold claim. There is such a thing as good debt. But what does that mean? Good debt is debt that helps you acquire assets that generate income. Bad debt is debt that drains your money and funds liabilities. It's not just about borrowing money. It's about why you borrow and what you do with it. That's the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom. For example, if you borrow $200,000 to buy a luxury car, that's bad debt. The car depreciates in value, and you're paying interest on something that doesn't earn you anything. But if you borrow $200,000 to purchase a rental property that earns you $2,500 a month in rent, and your mortgage payment is only $1,500 a month, that's good debt. That's using other people's money to create income. Chapter 3. Here's an example. Let's say you borrowed $200,000 and bought a duplex. You live in one side and rent out the other for $1,400 a month. Your entire mortgage is $1,300 a month. Congratulations, you're living for free. Now imagine scaling that. Imagine buying multiple properties, each one funded by good debt, and each one generating cash flow after all expenses are paid. That's how wealth multiplies. And it's not just real estate. You can use good debt to fund businesses, acquire equipment that generates revenue, or even invest in education that leads to higher earning power, as long as the return on investment is greater than the cost of the debt. Chapter 4. The poor and middle class are taught to fear debt. They use credit cards to buy TVs, vacations, and gadgets. They finance liabilities, not assets, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. The wealthy, however, use debt to create leverage. They use it to grow faster, to scale, to acquire more income-producing assets than they could with just their savings. Debt becomes a tool, not a trap. But, and this is important, it must be controlled. Not all debt is good. It must be used intelligently and responsibly. There's a big difference between strategic borrowing and reckless spending. Chapter 5. Think of it this way. Bad debt makes you poorer over time. Good debt makes you richer over time. The question is, how do you tell the difference? Ask yourself, will this debt generate income or increase in value? Is it part of a bigger financial plan? Or is it just satisfying a short-term desire? If you're putting debt towards something that will appreciate or cash flow, like real estate, a business, or investments, it could be good debt. If it's funding things that go down in value or cost you more in the long run, like luxury items, consumer electronics, or cars, it's bad debt. Chapter 6. Let's break it down even further. Good debt includes investment property loans, business loans, student loans for in-demand skills, and lines of credit used to expand income streams. Bad debt includes credit card debt for shopping, high-interest car loans, payday loans, and borrowing for lifestyle upgrades. Here's a mindset shift. Stop asking, "Can I afford the payment?" and start asking, "Does this help me build wealth?" That one question can save you years of financial pain. Chapter 7. Let's get real. If you're already in bad debt, you're not doomed. But you do need a strategy. Step 1. Stop taking on more bad debt. Step 2. Create a snowball plan to pay it down, starting with the smallest balance or the highest interest rate. Step 3. Once you free up cash flow, redirect that money toward building assets with or without good debt. Knowledge is power. The more you learn about money, the better your decisions become. You can flip the game in your favor, but you've got to be intentional. Chapter 8. Let's talk about control. The wealthy use debt, but they also manage risk. They don't borrow recklessly. They run the numbers, they have exit strategies, and they use insurance and legal structures to protect their assets. So yes, debt can be powerful, but only if you respect it. It's like fire. It can warm your home or burn it down. Be wise. Use good debt to build. Avoid bad debt that bleeds you dry. And never stop learning. Chapter 9. Now here's a question for you. What's one liability you've borrowed money for in the past year? Be honest. Now imagine if you had put that same amount of money into an asset. How would your financial situation look today? This simple change in thinking, switching from consumer mindset to investor mindset, is how wealth starts to form. Robert Kiyosaki didn't say don't use debt. He said, use it wisely. That's what separates the rich from everyone else. Closing. In episode 11, we'll explore something that often holds people back, even when they know what to do. Fear. Why do so many people stay stuck in the same job, the same life, the same money struggles? We're going to break down how fear controls people's financial choices and how the rich overcome it to take calculated risks that lead to freedom. So subscribe and turn on notifications for the next episode and let me know what book to do next. We're not just talking about money. We're building mindsets. And the journey is only getting started.